New York Jets news is heating up as the Jets have a contract extension that is imminent for one of the most, if not the most important player on this roster now, as Darren Mougey prepares to finally do what fans have been waiting for. However, there is another contract extension that fans are going to continue to look after throughout this process, and me and Matt are both wearing black shirts as well, and that's fun. We're going to jump right into it, guys. What's up? Welcome back to Jets Digest. It's Chris and Matt here. If you guys are part of that 60% that's not subscribed to Jets Digest, make sure to subscribe. We got daily videos like this and much more coming at you. And guys, it's officially July. The NFL is close to getting some more returns happening with a few moves here and there. And obviously, most importantly, Madden coming out, which is where the Jets do scout everyone with their ratings, or at least that's what Woody Johnson does. So with all that in mind, obviously things could heat up for the Jets, but also with August just around the corner, things are going to get real fun. So you want to make sure to subscribe. But more importantly, we want to make sure to talk about Sauce Gardner, because he's had, in those first 2 years, the greatest start to the career a defensive back has ever had. And because of that, he's going to get paid like it, as multiple outlets are now reporting that there's been a lot going on, that Sauce Gardner is expected to become the highest paid cornerback, as the Jets are pushing to get an extension done during training camp. And this is going to back up the Brinks truck, is what the quote is for Sauce Gardner, who's going to get the highest paid contract in defensive back history. And we're seeing it from all angles. Sauce Gardner is going to become the highest paid cornerback in NFL history. Now, that in itself is not news, but the fact that the Jets are looking to get this deal done in training camp absolutely is news, as Sauce Gardner and Darren Mougey have both been very open about how they want the partnership to continue for the rest of Gardner's career. Gardner wants to be part of the change, and Darren Mougey has made it very clear and done everything outside of signing Gardner to the extension that he wants Sauce and Garrett Wilson to be huge parts of this team going forward. But Matt, if Sauce Gardner is, and I do want to keep this on Sauce for a moment, but if Sauce Gardner is going to be signing this extension during camp, you have to imagine the inclination is that both him and Garrett Wilson's contract extensions are incoming.
The New York Jets need to be going down a checklist right now of things that need to happen during the offseason. And just like you said, maybe the most important player on the roster, definitely the most decorated player on the roster, Sauce Gardner, 2 first-team All-Pros. He needs to be at the top of the list. The next thing that they need to cross off their to-do list is getting him paid. And then after that, no doubt the next thing will be Garrett Wilson getting paid. We finally have the timeline for when Sauce Gardner is expected to receive this money. Training camp, a little bit later than me or you would have done it, but whenever it gets done, it gets done. I think we could have saved about $2 million a year if we signed him before Derek Stingley, but we don't know everything going on inside the building. Maybe Sauce Gardner was waiting for Derek Stingley to get signed and wanted to get signed after Derek Stingley to make sure that he made more money. It's not the smart thing to do financially, but Sauce Gardner will most likely be fine financially for the rest of his life, so he can afford to take risks that aren't very smart like that. But you brought up another very smart point where you said after Sauce Gardner gets signed, all sites are going to turn and take a look at Garrett Wilson. These guys know that, Darren Mougey knows that these top guys need to be signed, and after the first guy gets signed, it's going to be a lot more clear that they're looking at getting these guys extended. So Garrett Wilson will feel a lot better, and he will know for a fact that he is now the priority of what the GM needs to be taking a look at. Aaron Glenn, he's going to have some more stuff during training camp, obviously, as he's going to be running practices and stuff like that. He's going to be adjusting to life in the NFL as a head coach. He's never been a head coach before. That's something a lot of people don't like, but we on Jets Digest think that means he has an untapped ceiling that Aaron Glenn could reach and hopefully become one of the best teams in the NFL. Let's get both these guys, Sauce Gardner and Garrett Wilson, signed long-term.
I agree, and it does make sense that the Sauce news is coming out first. We've seen multiple reports throughout time that Gardner, the extension, it's easier. You know he's going to be the highest paid player in NFL history, or highest paid cornerback, in NFL history already. That's not really up for debate. Seeing that part in itself, as I said, it's not the most breaking news ever. We've sort of known that Gardner is going to get paid better than anyone because he started better than anyone. So because of that, he's going to get what he's due. And with Derek Stingley signing that 3-year, $90 million deal, we're looking at somewhere that's probably going to be 3 years, at the very least 93, at the most right under 100, around 99 is my guess. But we know it's in that range. We know the range basically to the exact margins of what Sauce Gardner's contract is going to be. We don't know that with Garrett Wilson. We just don't know. It's not clear because Wilson is obviously going to get paid a ton of money as he should. It's not really his fault he hasn't made a Pro Bowl. And I know the Pro Bowl doesn't really count for anything, but being All-Pro does. And obviously the Pro Bowl counts for a little bit, but it's not.
No, what you're saying is the Pro Bowl doesn't count as much as it used to count.
Yeah.
But since it's a lot easier to make, it raises some eyebrows that Garrett Wilson hasn't made.
No, of course. And I do think, like, it's kind of hard to read the Pro Bowl at this day and age. But when it comes down to things, you look at the numbers Gardner put up and just the accolades next to his name. He was phenomenal. He's been phenomenal. Had the most pass deflections as a rookie. Was the best cornerback in the league as a rookie. Was the best cornerback in the league in 2023. This year he took a step back, but he was dealing with some injury. Did miss a game, so there's also that. Or maybe missed 2 games. He did miss 2 games, actually. But when it comes down to it, Gardner has been a phenomenal defensive back, and he deserves to get the biggest contract in history of anyone who's played that defensive back position. But Garrett Wilson's also been great. Last year had 1,104 yards, had 11 yards per reception, and 7 touchdowns. And when you look at his career, he's had over 1,000 yards every single season he's played in. He's been great. Gardner has been great, and for a guy who's thus far averaging 1,083 yards per season in his career, something that feels like it can go up as long as he has a consistent quarterback who he's on the same page as, which at no point in his career you can really blame Wilson for. I mean, I know Aaron Rodgers was decent last year, but he was favoring Devontae Adams, and on top of that, Rodgers, as Wilson accused him of many times, he just wasn't there, and Wilson didn't really get along with Rodgers because of that. And so you can't fully blame Garrett Wilson for not maybe reaching that full potential yet, but he's still going to get paid like he's going to / has. It's just a matter of who is he going to get paid more than, who is he going to get paid less than, because he's not getting that Jamar Chase money, but he's getting good money.
Just like you said, Garrett Wilson's contract is a lot more convoluted, and it's a lot harder to predict because wide receivers get paid pretty much based off the stats that they put up, but Garrett Wilson can argue that his lack of elite stats are not his fault. He can point to the film, point to who he is as a player and say, you know, I'm one of the best wide receivers in football and I want to be paid as one of the best wide receivers in football. The problem is my stats don't back it up and my accolades don't back it up either. So what we are probably looking at is going to be in the range of 28 to 30. Brandon Ayuk 2 years ago with the San Francisco 49ers, or I think it was actually last offseason, got paid $30 million per year coming off of a first-team All-Pro season. I expect Garrett Wilson to get less money than that. So, just like I said, that $27 to $30 million range is where we are expecting Garrett Wilson, but you never know. Maybe he's got a really good agent who's going to find him more money than that. All I know is we absolutely have to get this guy signed because if Garrett Wilson decides he wants to hold out, or if Garrett Wilson decides that he's not happy with the money he's being offered and the amount of respect that he's being shown, and he decides to demand a trade, that would be absolutely catastrophic. And not only for my heart, because he's my favorite player, also for the New York Jets wide receiver room, which you really couldn't even call a wide receiver room at that point. They would probably get put in the outhouse, get put in the porta potties by Florham Park, the practice centers. That's where the receivers would have to meet because they would have absolutely nothing left in terms of wide receivers. Be absolutely done. We got to make sure we are keeping Garrett Wilson healthy and make sure we're keeping him happy and paying him as much money as he wants.
There's also another person who, if Wilson requested a trade, it would be massively catastrophic for. Darren Mougey. What a way to start your GM tenures, to get Wilson to ensure that he's not going to request a trade by getting him the quarterback he likes and then botching the extension so poorly that he did. Like, truly, already the entire Jets fandom is going to be super against Mougey if he does that. It's not even a question also about, like, do you do this? You do. These guys were your all rookies, like, or were your rookie of the years, excuse me, basketball terminology. Not even correct basketball terminology when you think about it, but
they would have been on the all-rookie team if the NFL had one.
If they had them, they would. They'd be the first people on each, the offensive and the defensive one. Or if there was just one entirely, they would have been on them because they were the offensive and defensive rookies of the year for a reason. They were phenomenal.
If there was one per each.
Yeah, they deserve.
There it is.
They deserve it all. Like they deserve this money, and I imagine that both of them are going to get it done during training camp because it seems like neither Wilson nor Gardner are worried about it. And also they were showing up throughout OTAs. So they probably talked to their agents and it was like a pretty much known fact. And they've definitely talked to each other as well throughout this process. The two are known to be friends. So they've talked. It's very clear they understand this and that at the end of the day, we're going to see this team and two of the marquee players, if not the two, they are the two most important players on offense and defense. It's undeniable. So you look at it, they're going to get their contracts. I imagine they've probably talked to each other like, yeah, it's the same deal. We're going to get paid in training camp for some reason. That's just when they want to get it done. As long as we get paid, we're going to turn this thing around. That's my guess.
Yeah, like Darren Mougey, does he have so much preparation work to do for the season that's what he's working on right now? Like, is he on vacation right now? Why are these guys not getting signed? I know a lot of people think that we are jumping the gun by pounding the table to get these guys signed in every single video, but they really deserve it, and we're not going to stop saying it because these guys need to get paid.
It's also, we're just all going to, everyone's going to feel a better sense of security from literally Darren Mougey, the top of it, from Woody Johnson, the very top, to Darren Mougey, to Aaron Glenn, to Sauce, to Garrett, to me, to you, to the people who are in that outhouse that the wide receiver room without Wilson is waiting to get into, but they're using the bathroom right now, so they gotta wait. Like, every single person, if you care about the Jets, you should feel this and just know in the back of your head, while they're not signed, things can take a pretty drastic turn at any point. You want to avoid that.
Absolutely. Let's get these deals done.
Let's get them done, and let's get you guys subscribed to Jets Digest. Guys, like this video, turn on post notifications, subscribe. Have a great day, and go Jets.